What if the biggest barrier to your success isn't something external? What if it's already inside you? We all have dreams, goals, and aspirations. We all want success, but how many times do you find yourself stuck feeling like you're not moving forward? It's frustrating, right? But here's the hard truth. Success isn't just about what you do, it's about what you stop doing. The actions you take, or rather the actions you don't take, are what shape your progress. Think about all those moments when you said, I want to succeed, but then found yourself stuck. Why? Because success isn't just a wish, it's a choice. It's not something that falls into your lap. It's not about waiting for the right moment. It's about choosing to act now, to stop doing the things that hold you back. We often dream of success, but the reality is, dreams don't work unless you do. Here's what most people miss. Success isn't about adding more things to your life. It's about stopping the things that are preventing you from moving forward. It's about taking a step back and recognizing the habits, mindsets, and fears that have been keeping you from your full potential. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Instead of focusing on what you need to do more of, we're going to focus on what you need to stop doing. We're going to address 3 key areas that are silently sabotaging your success: procrastination, blaming others, and caring too much about what others think. It's time to take responsibility for your own success. It's time to recognize that you hold the power to change everything in your life. How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow? It feels like a natural thing to do, right? We all make promises to ourselves. Tomorrow I'll start my fitness routine. Tomorrow I'll begin that project. Tomorrow I'll change my life. It sounds simple, it sounds like a reasonable plan, but here's the truth: tomorrow never comes. We keep putting things off, and before we know it, days, weeks, and months go by. We end up stuck in the same place we were, still dreaming of the future we want, but never taking action to create it. Let me tell you something, you're not the only one. We all do this. We keep waiting for that perfect moment, that magic time when everything falls into place, but the perfect moment doesn't exist. Waiting for it will leave you paralyzed in the same spot forever. The hard truth is that tomorrow is just a lie we tell ourselves to avoid facing the reality of now. The longer you wait, the more opportunities you miss. The more time you waste, the further you drift from the success you claim you want. Procrastination isn't laziness, it's fear. Fear of failure, fear of making mistakes, fear of stepping into the unknown. And that fear grows every time you delay taking action. But just like a slow leak in a tire, you don't feel the full weight of it at first. You think it's harmless, but over time it takes you out of the race. And before you know it, you're stuck in place, watching others zoom past you while you remain stagnant, still waiting for the perfect moment. Procrastination hides behind a facade of perfectionism. You wait because you're afraid that you're not good enough. You think, what if it's not perfect? Well, let me tell you something. Perfection doesn't exist. It's an illusion. Perfection paralyzes you. It keeps you from doing anything because you're afraid of failing. But guess what? Failure is part of success. It's part of learning and growing. You cannot succeed without failure. You cannot achieve anything significant without taking risks and making mistakes along the way. The longer you delay, the more you steal from your future self. Procrastination isn't just about delaying action, it's robbing you of the results you deserve today. Every time you put something off, you lose the chance to move forward. You lose momentum, and momentum is the secret to success. Without it, you're just stuck in an endless loop of tomorrow. Every day you wait, you lose the opportunity to create something extraordinary. How many opportunities have you let slip through your fingers because you waited too long? How many chances to change your life did you miss because you kept telling yourself, I'll do it tomorrow? The successful people you admire didn't wait for the perfect moment. They acted, they made decisions, they put one foot in front of the other, no matter how scared or uncertain they felt. They didn't waste time thinking about it, they did it. And in doing so, they created the future they wanted. So how do you break free from this cycle of procrastination? It starts with taking immediate action. Stop waiting for the perfect motivation. Start with the smallest task. The first step is always the hardest, but once you take it, it gets easier. Start now. Don't wait. Start today. It doesn't matter how big or small your task is, just begin. Taking action is the key to breaking this cycle of procrastination. Create a plan, write it down, get organized. Structure your tasks into manageable pieces. You don't need to tackle everything at once. Just break it down into smaller steps and take one small step today. You're not trying to finish everything today. You're just moving forward, and that's what counts. Make progress real by putting one foot in front of the other and staying consistent. Accountability is also critical. You can't do this alone. Find someone who will hold you accountable, someone who will push you when you feel like quitting. When you have someone rooting for you, your commitment to your goals strengthens. It's easier to stay on track when you know someone else is expecting you to show up and put in the work. Now let's get real for a moment. What's stopping you from doing it right now? What's holding you back from taking that first step? Are you going to keep waiting for the perfect moment, or are you going to create that moment? The choice is in your hands. You have the power to make a decision right now that will change everything. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep waiting for things to align, or are you going to make today the first day of the rest of your life? Take action today. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for tomorrow. Start now. Make one decision today to act, and you'll break free from procrastination. This is your moment to change everything. Don't let it slip by. Let me tell you something. Blaming others for your problems is a weakness. You cannot grow, you cannot move forward if you're stuck in the blame game. You know why? Because your success is your responsibility, no one else's. Not your boss, not your parents, not your friends, not your circumstances. It's easy to blame, it's easy to point the finger and say, if only this had happened, or if they had done this differently, I would have succeeded. But that mindset is a trap. And it's the quickest way to stay exactly where you are, in the same position over and over again. When was the last time you pointed the finger and said, if only this had happened, I would have succeeded? Think about it. Maybe it was your environment. Maybe it was that person who stood in your way. Maybe it was the lack of resources, or the timing just wasn't right. All of these excuses, they will hold you back forever. If you keep giving the power away, if you keep blaming others, you will never see the opportunities in front of you. You will stay stuck in the victim mentality, thinking the world is against you and that you're powerless to do anything about it. Blame is one of the greatest obstacles to success. It's an easy way out. It's an escape from facing the hard truths about your own life and decisions. Blame allows you to hide behind a false sense of powerlessness. You get to say, it's not my fault, instead of confronting the real problem, your lack of control over your own action. Blame lets you take the easy road. But here's the problem. It keeps you stuck. It doesn't move you forward. You cannot grow while you're looking backward, always blaming someone or something else. Blame is like a sinking ship. Picture it. You're on a boat, and instead of jumping off and swimming to safety, you keep holding on, blaming the water, blaming the storm, blaming the boat. But guess what? You're just going down with it. You're going to drown in that blame if you don't let it go. That's what blame does. It keeps you trapped. The more you cling to it, the deeper you sink. You're not going to get out until you let go. Every time you blame, you give away your power. It's like handing over the keys to your own success and saying, I'm powerless. I can't do anything about this. And you know what? When you give your power away, you lose the ability to change your circumstances. You give up control. And that's when frustration and helplessness take over. But the moment you decide to stop blaming and start taking responsibility, you reclaim your power. You become the driver of your own life, not a passenger. The victim mentality keeps you stuck. It keeps you from seeing the possibilities that are right in front of you. It makes you feel like you're a passenger in your own life instead of the one steering the wheel. Now, let me tell you something. Blame is a chain. Responsibility is the key to freedom. When you blame others or your circumstances, you're chained to those things. Your chains will hold you in place and prevent you from growing. But responsibility is the key that unlocks those chains. It opens the door to opportunity. It sets you free. The key to success is not in waiting for the world to change. It's in owning your choices, owning your decisions, and owning your life. Taking responsibility is the first step toward achieving the success you desire. You can't control everything around you, but you can control how you respond to it. You are the architect of your own destiny. If you keep waiting for things to change on their own, you're going to wait forever. Successful people don't wait for the world to change, they adapt. They take ownership. They look at the obstacles in their path, and instead of complaining or blaming, they figure out how to move through them. They get creative. They take responsibility for their actions, their decisions, and their results. That's the mindset that leads to success. Look at some of the most successful people in the world. They didn't wait for life to hand them a perfect opportunity. They didn't wait for the right moment. They took action. They embraced responsibility and took control of their lives. Think about someone like Oprah Winfrey. She was born into poverty, faced abuse, and struggled with countless challenges, but instead of blaming her circumstances, she took responsibility for her future. She didn't wait for the world to give her a break. She created her own breaks. She made herself the success she is today by taking ownership of her story and her action. So ask yourself, if you keep blaming, who's going to step up and fix your life for you? Is someone else going to show up and change your circumstances? Is someone else going to make your dreams come true? No, only you can do that. The moment you take responsibility, you break free from the chains of blame and step into your power. You unlock your ability to take control and make things happen. Stop waiting for the world to change. Start with yourself. Let me give you something actionable right now. Own your mistakes. Every time you stumble, every setback you face, take ownership. See it as an opportunity to grow, not as a reason to point fingers. It's not about being perfect. It's about learning, adapting, and moving forward. When you take ownership, you build resilience. You don't just become better at handling challenges, you become better at life. Stop waiting for others to change your circumstances. You can change how you respond. The way you react to challenges is what defines you. Stop looking for excuses. Stop looking for someone else to blame and start taking responsibility for your life. It's that simple. Right now, stop pointing fingers and start looking in the mirror. The only person you can control is you. You can't control the past. You can't control what other people do, but you can control how you react to it. You can control the decisions you make. You can control how much effort you put into changing your life. Success doesn't come from what happens to you, it comes from how you choose to react. You have the power to make the decisions that will change your life. Take that power back. Stop blaming, start taking responsibility, and watch how your life begins to transform. What if I told you that the reason you're not achieving your full potential is because you're too worried about what other people think? That's right, the fear of judgment is holding you back from truly stepping into your greatness. Every time you stop yourself from taking action, every time you hold back from speaking your truth or following your passion, it's because you're giving someone else the power to decide how you live. Let me tell you something, that power does not belong to them, it belongs to you. So, how many opportunities have you missed because you were afraid of what others might say? Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from pursuing something you wanted, whether it was a career change, a relationship, or a dream project, because you were concerned about the opinions of others? How many times have you said, what if they think I'm crazy? Or what if they judge me? Those are the questions that keep you stuck. Those are the questions that steal your potential. We all have a story to tell. We all have something we want to create, but we let the fear of judgment silence us. We let others' opinions keep us from making the bold choices that will lead to our success. And here's the truth. If you live for other people's approval, you'll never find the success you're truly capable of. You will live a life that is not your own. You will live by others' standards, by others' expectations, and in the process, you'll bury your own desires, your own dreams. The fear of judgment is like a cage, locking away your true potential. It makes you feel small, like you have to hide who you really are to fit in. But what if I told you that the only thing keeping you from your dreams is this invisible cage? And what if I told you that this cage doesn't even exist except in your own mind? The fear of judgment, the need to please others, it's a trap. And the moment you stop caring about what others think, you unlock your true potential. When you're living for others, you lose touch with your true self. You begin to lose sight of what you actually want in life and start chasing what others want for you. Is that the life you want? A life dictated by everyone around you except you? A life where you're constantly seeking approval and never feeling good enough? That's not a life, that's a prison. Now, let's talk about how this fear limits your success. When you care too much about others' opinions, you lose touch with who you really are. You start to doubt yourself. You second guess every decision, every step you take. That self-doubt builds walls around your creativity. It stifles your progress. You can't move forward if you're constantly worried about what others might say. Here's the thing, when you care too much about others' opinions, you're not living your truth, you're living theirs. You're playing a part in someone else's story, not your own. You start to think, if I act this way, they'll approve of me. If I say this, they'll respect me. But the reality is, you're losing yourself in the process. And if you keep trying to be what everyone else expects you to be, you'll never become who you were meant to be. The successful people you admire, the ones who've achieved greatness, they didn't worry about fitting in. They worried about being themselves. They didn't let fear or judgment hold them back. They embraced their uniqueness and followed their own path, regardless of who agreed with them. Success doesn't come from trying to fit in, it comes from standing out. Take a moment and think about someone who has inspired you, someone who's accomplished great things. Maybe it's an entrepreneur, an artist, or an athlete. I can guarantee you that they've faced criticism. I can guarantee you that they've been judged, ridiculed, or misunderstood. But you know what they did? They ignored it. They pressed on because they were authentic to themselves. Look at someone like Steve Jobs. He was judged, he was criticized, people thought he was crazy, yet he didn't let their opinions stop him. He built one of the most successful companies in the world because he had a vision, and he was unapologetically himself in pursuing it. If Steve Jobs had cared about the opinions of others, Apple would never have existed. But instead, he embraced his own vision, ignored the noise, and the world is better for it. So how do you overcome this fear of judgment? The first step is to identify your core values. What do you truly believe in? What matters most to you? When you know your values, you stop seeking approval from others because you know who you are. The next step is to get comfortable with criticism. Understand that criticism doesn't define you, it refines you. You don't have to agree with every negative comment, but you can learn from it. Use it as fuel to get better, not as a reason to give up. And remember, failure is not the end. Failure is the process of learning and growing. If you fail, fail forward. The second you start embracing the reality that the only opinion that matters is yours, nothing can hold you back. When you believe in yourself, when you stop needing validation from others, you are unstoppable. Take the story of J.K. Rowling. When she first submitted her manuscript for Harry Potter, she was rejected over and over again. The world told her no, but she didn't listen. She believed in her story, she believed in her work, and now Harry Potter is a global phenomenon, and Rowling is one of the wealthiest authors in the world. So here's the key to unlocking your full potential. Be unapologetically yourself. When you stop caring about fitting into someone else's mold, you create a life that's true to you. You start attracting the right opportunities, the right people, and the right circumstances. When you stop hiding, the world sees you for who you really are, and they'll respect you for it. Success doesn't come from fitting in, it comes from standing out. It comes from following your own path and embracing your authenticity, even if others don't understand it. Now, I'm going to challenge you. Stop living for others. Stop adjusting your life to meet the expectations of people who won't matter in the long run. You don't need their approval to live your best life. The only person who needs to approve of your choices is you. Your true power comes when you're unapologetically you. When you stop hiding, when you stop pretending, that's when you become truly unstoppable. So what are you going to do with your one life? Will you continue to mold your decisions around the opinions of others? Or will you step into your power and live for you? The choice is yours. But remember, the greatest success lies in being authentically yourself. Don't let anyone take that from you. Take control of your destiny, starting today. Let's quickly remind ourselves of the 3 obstacles standing in your way. Stop procrastinating. Stop blaming others. Stop caring about what others think. These are the behaviors that are keeping you stuck, holding you back from the greatness you know is inside of you. Procrastination, blame, and fear. They're all traps. They look harmless on the surface, but when you dig deeper, you'll see that they have built walls around your potential, walls that are stopping you from achieving the success you've always dreamed of. How many opportunities have you missed because you kept putting things off? How many times have you pointed fingers at others instead of taking responsibility for your own actions? And how many dreams have you let die because you were worried about what someone else might say? The consequences are real and they're holding you back. The cost of staying stuck is high. Every day that you allow procrastination to control you, every time you blame others for your situation, and every moment you live in fear of judgment, you lose ground. You lose time, you lose opportunities, and ultimately you lose your potential. When you stay in this cycle, it doesn't just affect your goals, it affects your confidence, your self-worth, and your ability to take action. The longer you let these behaviors dictate your life, the harder it becomes to break free. But you don't have to stay stuck. You can choose to take a different path. You have the power to break free and start taking control of your future right now. You know exactly what you need to stop doing. The only question now is, will you choose to stop? Will you make today the day you finally put an end to procrastination? Will you choose to stop blaming others and take full responsibility for your life? Will you stop living in fear of judgment and step into your true power? Here's the truth. The power to change is in your hands. Right here, right now, you have the power to change your life. The choice to stop procrastinating, to stop blaming, and to stop caring about what others think is in your hands. And when you make that choice, you start moving toward the life you've always wanted. You stop waiting for the right time. You stop waiting for the perfect conditions. You take action today. That's how success is built, not by waiting, not by hoping, but by stepping into action. Success isn't waiting for you to get it right, it's waiting for you to make a move. It's time to step into your greatness right now. The world is not going to hand you success. You have to go out and claim it. So stop waiting for everything to be perfect. Stop waiting for the perfect moment because it doesn't exist. You have everything you need inside you right now. Now is the moment to take action. The world is waiting for you. Your future self will thank you for what you decide to do today. Make it count. The only thing standing between you and the success you deserve is the decision to take control. Now, make that decision, take that step, and never look back. Your future is waiting for you to take charge. It's time to rise.